It is good to be back here again every Tuesday night, 8:30 Eastern Time with you. And tonight it's not just me, which is fun because sometimes, I like to have a guest on to talk about the magic. And tonight we got a great guy. He's funny, he's entertaining, and his name is Geoff Williams, the man of many awards, obviously.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Put those down. Sorry. So I was just looking at a whole bunch of my awards that I had done. And so, yeah.
I also forgot to mention Geoff is very humble. He's a very humble guy.
Yeah, it's just, trying to clean a bunch of them up. And we filled like 3 of those pod dumpsters with them. So.
Well, Geoff, thanks for being here tonight on a Taco Tuesday for Magicians. It's great to have you here and appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. And cheers. I know Geoff was just pouring himself a drink. I got a drink. Cheers. His is neat.
I have a little Angel's Envy.
Mine's a michelada. Now you know what that is. Now that we talked about it a little bit. And cheers to the rest of our friends out there too. So, Geoff, your background is quite interesting. Not only as a magician, which you are a full-time performer, but also a creator of magic. And tonight, we have a world premiere of your latest release coming out. Isn't that right?
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited.
It's going to be awesome. So stay tuned for that, friends. But first, let's get to know Geoff a little bit, because as a magician, a lot of you might be familiar with him and his work, but not everyone is familiar or knows about his background as a writer for David Letterman and the Tonight Show with the top 10 list. That was like your thing, right? The Late Late Show.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I did that from let's see, it was 1997 to 2009.
Wow, that's a lot longer than I even knew. Okay, wow.
Yeah, actually, right out of high school, I toured Europe with an acting troupe. So that was really fun.
Wow. All right. Well. So your background doing that obviously works really, really well with magic, when it comes to writing, scripting, trying to infuse some humor into your magic. And I don't know about you, man, but that's one thing I see a lot with magicians is we use the comedy element in kind of a lazy way. It's like we perform, we have stuff, and it's like, well, I don't know how this is going to go, or I don't know what to say, or so they just throw in like a joke, or they try to be funny, and it doesn't always work. And that's why one of the reasons I really wanted to jump into talking about comedy with you, and obviously the scripting that can kind of go with that hand in hand. But what are your thoughts? I mean, do you consider yourself and sell yourself to your clients as a comedy magician? Is that what you do, or do you just?
Yeah, I sell myself to them as an entertainer that uses comedy and magic. So a lot of times when people say, "What do you do?" I say, "I'm an entertainer." So that'll be the first thing I say. The comedy and the magic they're fused together. I believe that comedy is a very, very important tool for magic because it can mask a lot of things. When the brain is happy, when it's laughing, it's not analyzing visual information. And you've seen it before. Sometimes when people laugh, they close their eyes even while they're laughing. And that's literally, if you want to know this is the brain saying, I'm having so much happy time, I cannot actually get any more, imported information from the eyes. So we're going to shut the eyes off, literally. And I don't want to know anymore. I just want to process the fun stuff in the brain. And as a comedy magician, if you use comedy as a tool, then what you can do is instead of using misdirection where you look over there or look over there kind of thing, you can do the comedy which will mask what they're seeing, and you can get away with quite a bit. It's a very important tool if it's used properly. Obviously, it's a fun tool. I mean, people, you want your audience to enjoy you. But if you can also use the comedy to blur over, in fact, Juan Tamariz has blurring questions. He'll ask somebody something at the time that he does a move because their brain then is occupied. Well, the exact same thing happens with comedy. So if you give somebody something to laugh about, and they don't have to laugh out loud, because a joke happens in the brain, and sometimes it filters out to the voice, but it doesn't always have to. But if you can give somebody something fun to think about, they're not going to analyze this really important visual information, and you can get away with a lot. And I think that's a super important thing. If you use comedy in your magic, if you use it properly, you can get away with murder, literally, because they're just not going to. They're not going to see what they're supposed to see, and it's okay because we all know magic happens in people's brains. It doesn't happen out here in your hands. And so, since comedy happens also in the brain, there's a really good masking quality to comedy, and I use it all the time specifically for that. I will make sure that if I need to do a sneaky move, I'll do it on a laugh line, and or at least something that's humorous, because the brain doesn't have to actually laugh. It just has to enjoy, and that's enough to be able to distract it. So I'm a big fan of using comedy as a sword, as a tool, rather than just as a topping or a condiment on my magic. I'm using it literally to help make the magic that I do much stronger. And I'm having a great time doing it too. So it's a win-win for me and for the audience.
Right. Um, when it comes to scripting, comedy and scripting kind of go hand in hand, because even though some things might seem unplanned when they're happening, obviously when you use comedy to a certain extent, you're planning this stuff to happen. You're so far ahead of what's going to happen that people don't know that, but it's part of the thing. So when it comes to scripting comedy, I know a lot of our friends out there are very familiar with scripting their magic in general, but when it comes to scripting comedy in there, that's really hard because it's not like a magic trick that you can practice in front of a mirror or a camera. You can watch it back and you can kind of critique yourself. You can't really critique yourself when it comes to trying to be funny. So, what would you say to that? What are some tips on finding a way to have it in there, but also feeling confident that it's gonna hit, that they're actually gonna get it?
Comedy is kind of like when you devise comedy, it's kind of like having children. Now, I never had a child, but I'm going to go with this. If sometimes the stuff in my show that I think is so funny, the audience doesn't laugh at, and they don't acknowledge it at all, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have to cut that one loose. I have to chop that one out because it didn't do what it needed to do. But it might be the funniest part of the routine for me. I have to make sure that I listen to my audience and go, did that resonate? Did that hit at all? If it didn't, I have to at least be able to decide I'm either going to fix it or I'm going to cut it. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't believe the funny things that I've had to cut. Well, you all wouldn't enjoy them. Obviously, I'm the guy who really liked them. And so there's an editing thing that absolutely has to happen. But most of the time, you have to be cognizant of how your audience is reacting. So let your audience tell you if the comedy hit. And if it didn't, maybe it was how it was just phrased. Not that it was a bad joke or anything. It might need some tweaking with such a thing as cadence. Any stand-up comics out there understand sometimes the punchline of the joke has to have a specific cadence. And I worked forever on this one joke until the cadence finally happened, until I finally got it. And it made me so happy because it makes the joke so much stronger. But sometimes that's what it's going to take. And a lot of times it's just flight time in front of the audience. So anytime that you're able to do your stuff, whether it's close up or stage or parlor, or, if it's just out with some friends at a beach bar, which we have a lot of them here, that type of thing. Sometimes you have to just be aware of, is it hitting or not? Mm-hmm. And if it's not, what did I need to do in order to be able to tweak that a lot? And then sometimes it's cut it loose, just let it go. And I've still got some favorites that I just can't use anymore because they're funnier to me than they are for the audience. And that's going to happen.
Right. There was a kind of a follow-up question to this. I know you're talking about cutting, things out that aren't hitting. However, Ken is going a little further. He says, obviously comedy's subjective. So how do you cover the move if the laughter does not occur? Because I don't know about you, but when I'm performing a lot, I kind of know where the beats are, right? I know when I say something, they're going to react in one way or another. And that's the moment I can do something that I need to do. If you have a built-in moment of something to happen and that moment's not there, do you have any advice on if it doesn't happen for the move in particular, or getting that moment of the hidden action? What if it's still like out in the open and they're not laughing and there's not stuff going on? Like, do you have any advice on that when that moment?
Yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to flight time. If it's not working, you have to fix it for the next show. Right. So it's not going to happen more than once. That's just the way it is. Here's a fun thing. If you can video all of your gigs, whether it's impromptu thing, hand your phone to your wife or friend, or say, hey, could you catch this? And then be able to analyze it afterwards. Copperfield is anal retentive. He records every single show he's ever done. He has them all. And just in case he needs to go back and look at something. And I think that's, kind of valuable. Mm-hmm. If you can step back and be able to go, why did that not work? Why wasn't it as good? Was it phrased wrong? Was it just completely in the wrong time? Do I need to add something there? And so you start analyzing your script and how you interact with your spectators. It shouldn't happen more than one show. You shouldn't have a really bad issue more than once, because if you're videoing stuff, you can always go back and look at it and go, oh yeah, that was a weak spot right there. Mm-hmm. I need to fix that. What do I need to do? And here's the cool thing. If you've got a bunch of friends in your area who know you and like you, get them together and go, what can I do to fix this? And start brainstorming, because brainstorming is one of the coolest things that you can do as a performer, whether it's comedy or without, is get valuable input from people that you know, like, and trust.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Yeah, and people that are willing to tell you the truth.
Exactly.
There's nothing worse than hearing what you want to hear. That doesn't help anybody at the end of the day, right? So.
Yeah, well, magic meetings, people get up there, they perform, and everybody claps, it's a golf clap politely and stuff. And sometimes something really cool happens, but, you try to support everybody. And that's good. I agree with that. But when you're trying to fix an issue, you want people who go, you completely missed the boat on this. You said this and you literally should stay away from that. You need to go in this direction. And if you have the ability to hire a director, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'd say just get a bunch of your friends around, watch the video or perform the thing for them and go, what does this need? There's something that's just not, it doesn't feel right here. Or according to the video, I didn't get any reaction. And this was my big highlight thing. So get people that like, and trust, and have them be brutally honest to you. And wow, that's golden. That's great.
Lots of. We're also getting some love about you in the chat as well. You're gonna love this name, Hungry and Hungover, over on YouTube.
Nice.
They said, "Oh my God, Devastation by Geoff Williams is one of my favorite effects. Love your stuff." So some love for you out there.
Oh, thank you. Devastation is it's a Tom Doherty trick, and Tom is no longer with us, and his estate gave me full, you know, thumbs up to be able to keep promoting that in my lectures, and I want to keep his memory alive. But it's that's such an amazing thing, and it was featured on one of the BBM videos. I think it was the Incredible Self-Working Card Tricks Volume 3 or something like that.
Okay. The other thing I was going to ask you is from John Hayes, again from the YouTubes. He says, Geoff, have you ever worked on a cruise ship? If so, how do you come up with routines that the same audience is present night after night? So, first part of that question, has Geoff Williams done cruise ships?
I have. And the cool thing about the cruise ship contracts is that you're probably doing 2 shows a week. Mm-hmm. They're going to be different shows. And then there's a little promo thing that you might do like the first night kind of thing. And so they've automatically set that up so that you're doing different material. And then the next week, it's a different group of people. So you really don't have to worry about it. So cruise ships are fun. I really like them. They're difficult on one respect, and that is if your table is not stable, because the ship is always doing this. It just always is. And if you've got wheels on your Leffler table, make sure those buddies are locked down. Make sure they're not going anywhere. Probably should not do a levitation. I'm just saying, cruise ships are fun, but you're not really having an issue if you're doing, and they hire you for 2 completely different shows plus a little promo set. So that's generally not an issue, unless somebody decides to get back on the ship and do another week, in which case, I don't know, they'll see your fun stuff again.
This one's from Ken Scott, one of our former, presidents out there.
Ken Scott, good buddy. In fact, he was my roommate on a cruise ship.
No kidding.
Yeah, we did the DCAM cruise. Ken is a great guy.
Well, let's see what Ken wanted to ask you then. He says, 1, you're a genius, so we know that so far.
Whatever, he's a liar. Next.
Can an impromptu moment become a bit in a show? So, yeah, even something you don't plan that just happens. Do you end up, maybe having it become something as a permanent part of your show?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I'm a big fan of listening to the audience, and sometimes this impromptu bit that you give them is going to come back on you. They're going to say something and it's like, oh, that's brilliant. That is so good. And so I'm always listen to your audience. Your audience, first of all, is never wrong, ever. So they're going to tell you when you were good, when you were bad, when you added something, extemporaneous. And I've even stopped my show at one point and said, can I use that? And they would say yes. And I would go over and write it down. And it got a laugh. But the weird thing was, it went into the show after that. So do not be afraid to let your audience help you write your show. And Ken knows, he's done thousands and thousands of library shows and regular shows. And Ken is a real pro. He's amazing. He knows better than any of us about how you should listen to your audience. So,
and just one of the nicest guys in the industry too, as a bonus.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, he killed my mom, but other than that, he's a great guy.
I gotcha. I got Jeff.
You got me.
Yes. Oh man. And then we have Robbie Moreland out there saying some really, really good advice, which is very true.
Robbie's great.
Yes, he is. Tremendous is the word around here. It's tremendous.
He is. Yeah.
Here's a good question. Since you were used to thinking on your feet, Mr. Geoff Williams, John Hayes, have you ever had a blunder with a trick? I know we all have. If you did, how did you continue through the blunder? How did you keep it moving when something went wrong? Because it's bound to happen, right?
That is such a great question. Thank you, John, for that. Here's the cool thing. The audience doesn't necessarily know how the trick is supposed to go.
Right.
And if you can think on your feet, and one of the things that I think is very valuable in a rehearsal is to drop the cards. Go ahead and drop them and think, what would I do if they fell? And get out of it. Now you're going to be prepared for that type of thing. Go over to your table and bump it and have something fall off of it and think, what am I going to do now that this has gone south? I've got this fold out table. It's one of those things that folds up into a briefcase, but instantly folds out into a table.
Oh yeah.
And I did a thing with the Tampa Bay Rays mascot. And we were on a stage, and his name is Raymond, and he's this big furry blue thing. Anyway, he knocked into the table, and it fell actually off the stage into the audience. It didn't hit any audience people because their chairs were away from the stage, but the whole thing just disappeared. And I went, and Raymond made the table disappear. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm filing that away. Okay, that's going to go into my little mental library. I'm going to use that again if I have to, because it just made everything okay. Mm-hmm. And problems are going to happen. They are. They literally are. And some people, when they drop something, they have a stock line for it. I'm not into stock lines. I don't like stock lines, like, oh, my act is really picking up now. It's, I'm not really, I don't care for that too much, even though your audience, it could be brand new for them. Mm-hmm. It's really old for me. I just don't like it. So I'm thinking in your rehearsals, drop things and think, what would I do? And so then if it actually happens, which it shouldn't, but if it does, you're prepared. And the audience doesn't know. They have no clue how your show is supposed to go. So consequently, they won't even notice. I've had people ask me, have you ever messed up? And I tend to laugh and go, I don't know if I have or ever. I'm not sure if I have. And obviously I have. I just have. We all have. We're humans, and that's the way we're made, and it's just going to happen. But outs are golden. I mean, if you're doing a card trick, you darn well better have an invisible deck, an ultra mental deck on you, so that you can get out of it. Because in many cases, the invisible deck is better than the trick you were doing. And people will go, oh my gosh, he was just screwing with us. Oh, he was just messing with us. And so he could do this incredible thing. Gosh, he's so good. And they give you credit, even after a mess up. So I think there's valuable lesson to be learned by messing up on purpose and going, how would I get out of this? What if I drop my dye tube on the floor? What do you do? What are you going to say? And that's valuable information. And then if it should ever happen, which hopefully it won't, but if it does, you're like calm and cool and collected, and you got your line and you're ready to go. So, yeah. anything that you can do to make your show more foolproof, which includes screwing up. Okay, it's the better. In fact, I even fixed, because I messed up the invisible deck once, because it has two different kinds of calculations. You got suits and you got numbers, and I fixed the whole thing, and I call it invisible deck finesse. Where if you go to my lecture, you'll see that the suit is the same and the number is one off. I mean, how easy is that? Now I literally fixed the invisible deck. I don't have to practice it, and I do it all the time. But if I was not able to do it for 6 or 8 months, it would still be just as easy with no mental calculations. In fact, anybody watching this, if you send me an email to Geoff@geoffwilliamsmagic.com and say, what is up with this invisible deck fix that you've got, I will send you the excerpt from my lecture notes that makes the invisible deck super easy and simple, completely free. I will not ask you for anything. I will not grab your email address or anything. I will send it to you because I love you. And I want everybody to not have issues with the invisible deck. It was set up improperly from the beginning. You don't need to be that crazy with all of the calculations and everything. It just does not need to happen. And so send me an email, Geoff@geoffwilliamsmagic.com, and say, send me that invisible deck thing that you talked about, and I will send it to you, and I will not contact you again. You won't hear from me or anything. It'll just be my gift to everybody out there. And if we have 1,000 people do it, I will spend all day tomorrow sending them out.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you for the kindness, Mr. Geoff. Not only your time now, but cheers to that. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Got an old pal of mine out here, the greatest of all time, Max Nelson, calling you the greatest of all time out there, Geoff Williams.
Oh, Max, you're the best, buddy.
Max is awesome. Yeah. Got a lot more questions coming on in. One of them I'd like to ask you, because we haven't touched on the topic of scripting yet. And this is a great little, and we're going to get to several questions still dealing with the comedy stuff and the practice stuff that you guys, I know David Parr has a fantastic question I want to get to after this one too. Ellis Cohen.
David's my peep.
Oh, sorry.
From Chicago. Great guy.
The boys. Love it. Ellis Cohen. What's your feeling on using Chat GPT for help on scripting? Hope to see you in Tampa in May. So scripting, we haven't really talked too much about it, but I guess right off the bat, what are your thoughts on using AI to help you with scripting?
I have not used AI for scripting.
Yeah.
I'm old school. I haven't done it. I did use AI for some imagery in my new lecture notes. I've got some lecture notes that are coming out very, very soon. It's called Underground Monsters, and I needed some monsters pictures in there, and I used AI to create them. But no, I haven't used AI at all for any writing.
Okay.
I'm just old school, probably.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Some things, just can't be replaced, right? You just can't. Yeah. And actually, one of our own, John Shack, says that you helped proofread a script for him, and the insights that you shared were wonderful. So very kind of you.
Yeah, John's great performer.
Yep. What was the next thing? Oh yeah, the David Parr question is really, really good because he brings up one of our lost legends, Eugene Berger. And I do want to say real quick, two things. Number one, if you guys would like to call in and actually talk to Geoff and ask questions, we'll put the link in the chat again in a moment. But number two is that, Geoff has some lecture notes he was just talking about. We have a clip of something from those notes that are not out yet to share with you as well, along with the world premiere of his brand new physical product release that's coming out as well. So stay tuned for that. coming up here in just a moment. And we have a call-in guest as well. So let's get a David Parr's question, and then we'll jump into some of that other stuff. David Parr, Eugene Berger made a distinction between rehearsal and practice. Can you explain what you mean by rehearsal? Good question. Did we lose? Oh, there's Geoff. Okay.
Yeah, rehearsal and practice. Practice is going through the motions, but rehearsal deals, for as far as I'm concerned, deals with the blocking, movement, and all of the associated things. The rehearsal should look like the actual performance, whereas practice is working on the individual slights, working on the scripting, working on the individual pieces. Where that's practice. Rehearsal is the final product. There should be, at the end of rehearsal, no difference from the final product that you give your audience. This is how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. We have a guest, Mr. Geoff. We have a guest popping on. Mr. Mike Hankins has arrived.
Mike Hankins!
Hello.
Mr. Mike, how's it going? Good to see you again.
How is everybody? How you doing, Geoff?
You know, I'm famous. How are you, Mike?
Hey, I'm not so famous.
You are.
I actually do have a couple of questions.
You are famous because there are people who know you who don't know me. And if I'm famous, how famous are you?
Ah, very well. Very well said, sir. I have a few questions for you that relate to both comedy and magic simultaneously.
I would prefer not to talk to you, but go ahead.
Okay, good. I'll talk to Luke then. Maybe he can relate to you. So how much or have you ever created a magic effect based upon a joke that you thought of that maybe had nothing to do with magic, but then you were like, oh, well, you know what? That actually might be something I could work a routine around. And then you create a whole new trick based upon like a comedy idea you had.
I don't, right off the bat, I don't know if I had any magic tricks that came out of a joke. I've had so many jokes come out of magic. I think it's because I tend to start with the magic trick and then work the comedy around that. Although, see, I've been doing stand-up for a long time. So I've got some stuff that's purely joke that has no magic at all. But I'm trying to think of anything that has come from say stand-up that went into magic, and I'm thinking no, I can't think of anything right off the hand. No.
Right on. Yeah, just a weird question, right?
That's a great question. I've never thought of it though.
Because you do stand up, you have the comedy background, and you're also a magician. You're a comedy magician combined, right? How much has improv helped you with finer tuning a trick? I know a lot of magicians are all about scripting. Go by the script, go by the script. But if you don't have the gift of gab and you're not able to branch off script, you might not be able to have a moment where you can come back if you flub a line or if something fails. And so how much of your stuff can start unscripted and then you script it based upon, the final product?
Oh, I like
hope that makes sense.
Yeah, first of all, I'm a big fan of scripting. I've got notebooks. A lot of them are on the computer right now, but I script literally everything. But I have the option of being able to go off script anytime I want. And Chipper Lowell is my favorite guy for going off script because he scripts everything, but yet he will ask somebody where they're from. He'll banter with them back and forth, and he'll find his way back into the script. And that is so wonderful because it looks completely impromptu, even though the script is not. The little bit of banter that you're able to do with the audience is, and you do have the option of going off script at any time. And you can, if you can find your way back, that's amazing, obviously. I'm I love impromptu stuff. I love, the whose line is it anyway? I play along with them when I watch it on television, because I think, oh, I would have said this. I would have gone this direction. And if you can do that in your show, and it's kind of scary because you're going off script, right? There's a scariness to it, but there is this liberation of, it's hard to define. I love to go off script in my show, even though I've got a script that I work on. So yes, I'm a huge fan of, and if you're not comfortable necessarily doing that type of thing, but you want to be, get with a comedy group in your area that does, extemporaneous kind of stuff. The Comedy Sports, I think, is quite popular in a lot of areas. Get with a group and just play, because that's all it is. Impromptu magic, or impromptu scripting, is just playing. And God, I just love it. There's so much fun. I'm Absolutely. Playing right now. This is not scripted. I'm playing right now. I'm having a great time. Okay. And Mike Hankins, you're a ringer. Yes. Okay.
One final question, then I'll leave you be.
I'm 5'9". I have hazel eyes. I don't know if.
And hair color is
clear.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Me too. So for anyone who maybe has trouble with scripting, because you're such a scripter, right? You love to script. What, besides books, the typical scripting for magicians and typical books that are out there for that, what advice do you have for them to be able to help find themselves when writing a script?
This is so good. This is a segue that I was wanting to get into it. I'm so glad you did this. Start pretending. In other words, act it out. If you have to have a little recorder going on your phone or whatever, just act it out. Say, I'm going to go in this general direction, and start talking it out as if it was done. And then go, no, that didn't work. Let me try this. And then go into another direction, and then go back to the audio file and start editing that thing down. And just, it's kind of impromptu, sort of extemporaneous stuff, but it can be done even by yourself. Just recording stuff out and go, okay, this is how it's going to go. In fact, it's really interesting because I'm rewriting a brand new thing that has to do with Legos and stepping on them. And there's, in this jar, there's less than 10,000 Legos, but this jar represents over 100,000 words that I cannot say in church. Okay, so that was one of the lines that came from it. It's like, oh God, I love that. That is so awesome. So I'm anything that you can do to just play it up. You're in a room by yourself. Just act it out, and act out. If there are other people saying things, act that out as well, and capture it somehow. Capture it on audio or video. If you've got your phone out, you can do that. It's so valuable, because you are going to hit a nugget of gold, and you go, I want that. I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to build my thing around this gold nugget that I just got. And it's absolutely wonderful. So don't be afraid to practice completely off script, but don't lose any of the golden moments that happen, because they will. That's just the nature of the beast. Just practice this stuff and go, oh, that was, for some reason, that was really insightful. I feel that was, God, that would border on brilliance. I love that. And then take it and use that and mold it and build things around it. But try not to. How many times have we thought of a joke And then an hour later, we went, God, what was that joke? Oh, God, I wish I would have written that down. Just record all of your scripting and play acting and your any routines that you're working on. Record everything. And then you can filter it out. And the beauty of it is if it's no good, you can delete it. So you don't have to take up all that room on your phone and everything. So
Oh yeah, I'm guilty of that too. I'll think of something and oh crap! But we have our phones, we have notepads. Bill, we have notepad with us all the time. Like
all the time. We are the luckiest generation so far. So we literally can just talk into our phones, and it will type it all out. Okay, it will annotate everything for you. So do not hesitate to play, but record your playing sessions because you will find gold in there. It's so much of the stuff in my lecture notes has just come from playing, just having fun and enjoying, what is happening. I just love it.
Right on. Well, thank you very much, sir. You're a legend, and you smell terrific. I'm going to jump off.
Thank you, Colin. Guest number 5.
Oh man, good stuff. Cheers to that. That was great stuff. I love it when you go
Mike
on.
Hankins, personal friend of mine. Yeah.
Well, in just a moment, we are also going to share the world premiere of a new release of yours, and the reason I'm mentioning that is because you're talking about playing and having fun. And I think that effect pretty much does both of those things, right? You get to play with your audience, have some fun. And yeah, but first, I would like to share the rubber band thing that you sent me. This is from your new notes. It's a clip that I have that I think you're going to be talking over it. So if you want to kind of talk about, and it's just going to loop. So people might see this a couple of times. But Geoff has new notes coming out. He's going to do some lectures soon. And we'll talk more about where you can find more of his stuff. But this is from the new notes. Here you go. This is the Underground Monsters set of notes, the rubber band trick. So here you go. So what we got here, Mr. Geoff?
Yeah, Underground Monsters. This is kind of fun. It's a simple rubber band thing that I just kind of discovered while I was just playing around. And you pull your middle finger out, which creates a space, and then you can pull the rubber band through there and pop it back on. It's completely impromptu. It's so much fun. I showed this to Stephen Bargetzi, who you all know, he's been killing people with this thing. It's just really, it's completely impromptu. And I used the Joe Reinfleisch number 19 rubber bands. I just love Joe's bands. They're gorgeous. Buy a bag of them. You can get the multicolor ones, or, I love I get the yellow and the orange ones for doing a thing that, gosh, that looks so good, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't get to see it that often. And so anyway, that's one of the things in the notes, and the notes they're a work in progress right now, but I'm shooting even more video for them, and I've got a video website where if you buy the notes, you get a link to the website that shows you a bunch of the things like that, as well as some other things from the notes in video form, so you can see how it's supposed to look. And I wish more people did that. So, because you buy some notes from people and you go, this reads really kind of strange. I wish I could kind of see it in action. Anyway, I've been proactive and trying to put together websites for all 3 of my lecture notes. Actually, 4 lecture notes. This would be number 4.
Ooh, I had to watch it one more time.
Oh my gosh, doesn't that look good? I mean, seriously, if I didn't know how it was done, I would have no clue. Yeah, that looks great. So
that's how we all feel, Geoff. That's how the rest of us feel right now.
And you get that particular thing. It's called a creepy rubber band thing. That's the name of it. I
Yeah.
literally didn't have another name for it. It works great on high top tables with it, like cocktail parties. And I did it for this one lady, and she screamed and ran away. And I thought, yep, that's exactly the reaction I want from this. I want them to remember this for the rest of their lives, you know.
Mhm.
So anyway,
Love
it's really it's easy. That's another thing. It's very, very simple, but
Cool.
it's kind of crazy.
Well, I think since we're talking about your stuff, I think it's only fitting, and I'll let you tee this up as long or short as you want. But you shared this with me, and this is a whole lot of fun, and that's all I'm going to say. And I'll let Geoff take it away. And I'm set up to play this with the audio and the full thing, so that's not one you'll be talking over. But anyway, Geoff, I'll let you kind of tee this one up.
All right. This is this is the new thing that I've come out with. It's based on a Benjamin Budzak trick, but it required a specialized holder. So anyway, yeah, go ahead and run the video there.
Here we go.
Timer and go.
Oh my God.
Was that supposed to happen?
It had, yeah.
Wow.
What?
Hi, my name is Geoff Williams, and welcome to Rubiks Cube. I'll show you what this is about. I'm joking. It's a Rubik's Cube. You can mix it up in a variety of different ways. Hand it over to somebody else, and it just as soon as they pick it up, it disintegrates. Isn't that fun?
Go, mix. You'll mix it. You can mix it one-handed. You can mix it two-handed. I don't care. And I'm going to try to then take it and solve it behind my back, okay?
Okay.
So we'll give you what? 8 seconds? Is that
sounds
probably
good.
good? Okay. Yeah, like a rodeo, yeah. When I say go, pick it up, mix it as fast as you can.
Okay.
Okay, ready? And go! Go, go. Go. Mix it up. 2, 3, go.
There was no good way of actually transporting it to a gig. I mean, you had to put rubber bands all over the thing, and it was kind of a mess. And so I sort of figured that out, made a holder that locks 2 different ways, so that you're able to get a paper bag, which you can get free at pretty much any grocery store. You can reach in, pull it out, manipulate it. It looks like it's absolutely normal in every way whatsoever. But when somebody else picks it up, it just disintegrates.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hell yeah. It's so good.
Isn't that fun? I mean, it's so much fun. There's so much Rubik's Cube magic stuff out there right now. This fits in perfectly with all of them.
Absolutely. And that's what I was saying to the guys before, you know. We were talking about the topic of fun and having a good time with your audience. And I mean, that's exactly what you're doing with this.
Right. Yeah. And if you get 2 of them going, right? So you've got either a boy and a girl from, you know, your family show. They're going to race. And they're going to pick it up, and it's just going to explode everywhere. Or for a regular adult show, I get a man and his wife up, and they're going to race. Boom! They explode everywhere, and then that's a great gag. It's absolutely wonderful. It works for close up. It works for stage, parlor, whatever. But in my stage show, then I will take one of those. It's a dustpan that they use like at a movie theater or a theme park. It's the big bucket on the thing. And I sweep up the pieces into that bucket, and then I shake it a couple of times and dump out 2 solved Rubik's Cubes. Except one of them has a piece missing. And I realize over here on the floor, there's 1 piece left. And I go and pick it up, and it fits. So anyway, that is not tipped in any of the instructions or anything with it, but I give it out to you people because it kind of begs for a magic ending, but it doesn't need one. It's hilarious on its own, but anyway, it's one of my all-time favorite things because I do a bunch of Rubiks Cube. I do Daryl's, Enchanted Cube. I do Oral Fixation by Ed Alonzo, and so this is the natural progression in my show later on, where I have people come up and they do it. But I've also taken it out of a bag, at somebody's house or at a beach bar kind of thing, and had them do it. You saw several of those there, and it's really hard to transport. So the holder that I made, it does 2 different locking mechanisms. The first one takes it to your show, doesn't matter, your whole thing can fall off the table and it's going to be fine. And then you set it for where it's ready to go. It's still in the bag, and you could reach in and you can unset it with either your thumb or your index finger, and then pull the cube out, move the cube around as much as you want, set the thing down. When they pick it up, it just goes everywhere. It's so much fun. God, I love this thing.
The fact that you were able to do the twist before that happens, that's what got me the first time you showed me this, because I'm like, wait a second, okay, he's twist, put it down, and then it's just like, it's on. Like, it's time for the fun. How long does it take to reset? That's what Ken Dumb is asking right now on the YouTubes. How long is the reset for that?
When you get good at it, okay, because the first time will take you 5 minutes or so. But when you get good at it, it takes a couple of minutes. So it's not something for restaurant workers. Mm-hmm. It's something for either a formal show, formal close-up, parlor, or stage show. A couple minutes. Because you do have to build it. It really does fall apart all the way.
And I hope you guys were listening closely when Geoff was talking about the way that he does it, because he shared that idea with me yesterday with the dustpan and what happens after. It's not going to be shared anywhere else, but it is such a brilliant way to make everything full circle. So I hope you guys heard that, because there was gold there. I just hope you guys got it. And that I didn't expect to hear you say it here, honestly, Geoff. So, yeah.
I wanted to be able to share that, but I mean, you're going to have to come up with your own. If you decide to do it that exact way, you have to figure that one out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could put it into a double-walled bag, paper bag kind of thing, and then shake it a couple times and dump out, a Rubik's Cube or so. So, yeah.
The biggest question of all is when. People want to know when. When is this going to be available, and how?
They're available. They're available right now. You could buy. I've got them.
Wow.
They're either $45 for one or $80 for two. And the reason I like two is because if people are racing, they're more apt to pick it up quickly and do something with it. And I've been finding when I put 2 of them down, they both explode everywhere. It's really something. So it's 45 for one, 80 for two. That's postage paid in the US. I don't know about the UK or whatever. We'll have to talk about that. But it's yeah. Anyway, they're ready to go. and I've got a few.
Sweet. All right. Well, there you go, guys. The exclusive here to see it, and now you guys can get it as well. That was actually,
And you should be able to get them through ATM here in a bit.
you got it. Yeah, man. But I'm just excited that they're out. Either way, people are seeing the fun that could be had with this. And I love the name Rubiks Cube. Rubiks Cube. For those wanting it now, though, Geoff, I know you're a very humble, modest guy again, even though you were showing us all your trophies earlier. Where can they buy it now? If people don't want to wait, they want to get it now, you need to tell them where to go.
Go to GeoffWilliamsMagicProducts.com. And it has all the information there to be able to order it from me, and I will send them right out to you.
All righty. Good to know. All right. And
it comes with like 4 pages of instructions. So, I mean, and they're all in color and everything. So it's complete. And if you have any issues afterwards, all my contact information is in there, and I'm really easy to get in touch with anyway. So if anybody's got any questions, even before you buy anything, just don't hesitate to contact me.
Cool. And I have it right here, Mr. Geoff. There it is. So here's the website, GeoffWilliamsMagicProducts.com, and we have it right there. Brand new Rubiks Cube. So do it to it, my friends. You can grab that now, which is awesome. So congrats on the new release. That's awesome, man.
Thank you. This is the world premiere here. So I was so honored to be able to do it with ATM.
Well, I'm just glad to have you here with us, and you've shared so much wisdom and so much gold. And we're not done just yet. I don't know how much longer you have, but we have.
I'm here till like 8 a.m.
Damn. All right. Let me get another drink. I was looking for some other questions here. This is a really interesting one, especially because you've also probably dealt with this with comedy and probably with magic. John Hayes is back again. Geoff, can you elaborate a situation where there was a heckler? How did you handle or dealt with the situation? Yeah, I mean, hecklers, there's always someone out there that wants more attention than you're able to give them. You can't give everyone the same amount of attention, but hecklers are out there. How do you deal with them when they do roar their head?
This is, I've done a lot of, I did a lot of stand up and stuff, and you have hecklers. What you want to do is they want attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to give them attention, but I don't get heavy down on them like some people do. I want to get them on my side. So I try to get them to be my buddy. So when they say something like that, I usually acknowledge it, but I acknowledge it in a good way so that I'm so glad you said that. You're like my favorite person in the audience now. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm the guy, right? And if you do that, that's all it takes to be able to get them good. If you start ripping on them, they're going to start ripping back on you. And it starts to be this really nasty fight between the stage and the audience. And I'm going to have to tell you right now, the audience is always on the audience's side. So if you're ripping on an audience member, you might as well be ripping on the entire audience. That doesn't always mean that, but as a general rule, if a guy from the audience starts yelling out or whatever, if you can get them on your side, however you do it, the entire audience will be on your side. So I am not the Don Rickles of magic. I'm not going to be insulting my audience. And if you speak up, I am not going to say anything that's going to rip on you whatsoever. ever. You are going to be my best friend, and I might even use you in a trick because you are so important. And that's all they need. And I've discovered that after 1,000 shows. And if you learn anything about hecklers right now, all they want is some attention. And if you can get them on your side, it's golden. The rest of the show, in fact, I just had one the other night. I was warned that this guy sitting in front was going to be a problem. And he spoke up during the first half of my show, not first half, the first two routines of my show. He was very audible, and I started talking to him. And later on, I said, I don't want anybody to do this thing because it's dangerous and you could die. I don't want anybody to do it except for him. And then I said, no, not even him, because he's my buddy. I like this guy. And so I kept that up, and he was as nice as could be for the rest of the show. He was so good. And as I took this potential heckler can be, if you can make them a valuable part of your show and let them feel that they're valuable, that's all they want. They want recognition. That's it. They may not say that, as but it's true. They really do. Yeah. And I can't think that fighting your audience can ever be a bad thing. Yeah, it could. I said that wrong. Fighting your audience can never work out in your advantage, ever. It should be where it's you and the audience, not you versus the audience. So anytime that you've got a heckler, put them on your side, bring them in, hug them verbally, do everything you can to make them feel wanted and needed and special, and that's all they need. So that's how I feel about hecklers.
Wise words. And as the wifey says, same with internet trolls, or at least with them, you can just hit the block button. It's too bad you can't do that in real life. Yeah. Here's a question I was going to ask you. This is just one that I was drumming up, hearing you talk about hecklers. On the other side of the coin, we were talking about, where you were just talking about how if an audience is on the side of the heckler, and then you decide to fight the heckler, then obviously you've lost the audience, right? The audience is on the audience's side. So with comedy, one, I would love to hear your honest thought on, if you were just getting into comedy now, would you feel as free or as, what's the word? Like, to me, as a non-comedian, I would feel so much pressure and stress and anxiety of offending people now because of the way that our world is, where it's like the cancel culture, right? And I would think as comedians, I mean, has that just effed the shit up? Like, has that just messed up people trying to do comedy and trying to be funny because they have to be careful? Like, what are your thoughts on the kind of society we live in now with comedians and comedy and stuff like that? Because obviously that could go against an audience real quick too, if things took a turn.
Comedy has changed because of because of the whole atmosphere of everything.
The climate,
and
right?
I am of the thought that your comedy should be tempered to be palatable, whether you're doing it in a church or in a boardroom or in a comedy club or in a family show. If you have to remember where you're at and go, oh, I can't use that joke should not be in your show, because you should be able to do your show wherever it is able to be done, and you don't have to worry about offending anybody. Rich Marotta, God, I love him. He's such a great guy. He's a comedy magic performer that works almost exclusively in stand-up comedy clubs. It's very blue. His stuff is so offensive. It works in strict comedy clubs, but it doesn't work in the real world. And Rich and I we were doing these showcases for this one group, and he came up to me and he goes, can I say this word? And I go, Rich, I wouldn't do it. I really wouldn't. These are older people. It's probably not good. Oh, okay. How about if I did this joke? I'm kind of thinking you probably should drop that. And he's like, I got nothing. He was literally struggling because most of his material was geared toward blue and offensive and the stuff that is in a New York comedy club, because he's from New York, and I love Rich. I think he's great. I really do, but in the right context. If you want to not have to have a good memory, if you don't want to have to remember, am I on TV? Am I in a church situation? Am I in a corporate climate? And you want to hear something weird? My corporate climates are more sensitive than my church climate.
Wow.
It's just the way they are. Structure your act so that it plays everywhere. Then you do not have to change a thing, and it works. I do a thing with the balloon where I blow it up lightly and I wiggle it, and it looks just like a sperm. Looks exactly like a sperm. And I go, and what is this? And I wiggle it, okay? And you'll hear some tittering, you'll hear some laughing, and I go, that's right, it was a mouse. This is a family show. That was a mouse. It's a tadpole, is an acceptable answer as well. And I get out of it. But if people want to go with sperm, that's in their head. I didn't say that. I didn't infer that. I didn't do any of that. But I let people off the hook depending on where their brains go. So if you're going to do comedy that's a little on the edge, keep that in mind. Always do the exact same show no matter where you go, so you don't have to remember. You're not going to insult anybody. You're not going to create an issue. You don't want to have the booker come up to you and go, that was completely out of place. You don't want any of that. I've never had that happen. And thankfully, I think it's because I try to keep every show is going to be the best show it is for every group. The exact same show is going to work everywhere. If you start, and here's the problem, Jim Gaffigan, if you ever saw, we all love Jim Gaffigan as a comic. If you ever saw his early stuff, it was blue material. And somebody, I don't know who it was, God bless him, they had him clean it up so that he became palatable for television. And now he's done, movies, and he's done all sorts of different things. And he doesn't do, you listen to any of his comedy, none of it's blue. Not one little bit of it is got anything offensive in it. And he's changed it for that. And, God bless him. Yeah, he learned, but he wasn't always like that. So unfortunately, I think you can still find some blue Gaffigan out there on YouTube. Don't look for it. It's just not worth it. His new stuff is always the best. And I recommend working clean, because if you work clean, you can work everywhere.
John Stevens made a nice comment about this. He says, notice how Geoff doesn't blame the audience. You're not blaming them for not getting it, right? I mean, that's the easy way out, right? So, yeah. All right.
Yeah, if something doesn't work, it's you. It's not the audience.
Yeah.
If the audience does something that it wasn't planned or whatever, that you egged them on, or that's your fault.
Right.
In fact, let's go to close up. If you have a gimmicked card that you put down onto the mat, let's say, and your audience member grabs it, that's your fault. It's not theirs. They're doing whatever they felt was natural. So if you're putting a gimmicked card down, either put it out of reach or put it, hanging out of your pocket or whatever. But you are responsible for what your audience does, not them. They have no responsibility whatsoever. So take control and take responsibility. But it's quite easy, actually.
On the topic of comedy and scripting, I know this is going to be maybe a tough one. You were one of the writers for David Letterman and his top 10 list that he did every night. Do you have maybe instead of a top 10, do you have maybe a top 3 pieces of advice for people when it comes to either a combination of comedy and scripting, or maybe a top 3 for each? Just a quick little rundown of just a couple quick tips for people when it comes to either one of those, or maybe together, just some general tips for people as we start to wrap up, because I know I've got you here for a long time already. So
yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, wow.
I know it's tough. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because funny is subjective. So really, the best thing to do is flight time. In other words, try your stuff out on people. If they don't laugh, please make a note of it. If they do laugh, please make a note of it. Be cognizant of how the stuff that you're doing is working. Yeah, because every show should be an upgrade from the previous show. I don't know if that, and when I use the show, I use the term show. Every time that you perform a specific effect should be an upgrade from the previous time that you did it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have a top 10 list if you'd like to hear.
Are you serious?
I have one. I brought one up. It's a top 10 magician pet peeves.
Well, damn. All right. Let me pop back to you then.
Okay. Number 10, ordering a zigzag over the internet and receiving only a small packet of cigarette papers. Number 9, one kabuki streamer and front row way too close equals 49 lawsuits. Splitting a dove into 2 and then remembering you only own 1 dove. Okay. Pulling a coin from a child's ear and then realizing that's not a coin. Number 6, realizing you just use your Mark Mason coins to buy a candy bar from a vending machine. So that's pretty... Number 5, tuxedos that mysteriously shrink over time. Number 4, discovering during your milk can escape that you are lactose intolerant.
Nice.
Number 3, pulling most of a rabbit from a hat. Yes. Number 2, an hour before you go on stage to do the iPad on the face routine that you've worked over for the last 3 years, you find out you'll be performing immediately after Paul Gertner. He's got an iPad on the face routine. And the number 1 magician pet peeve is discovering during your show that your precious 4-year-old has drawn and colored on every page of your magic coloring book.
Well done, Geoff Williams. You got me. I didn't know that was coming, dude. Well done.
I worked that up for tonight, so I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh my God, that's perfect. I could not have been a better way to start to wrap up this. I do want to jump back one last time to your website, which is, pardon me for 1 second here, I'm on the wrong page. Right over here, GeoffWilliamsMagicProducts.com. And this is the brand new thing that we just talked about, the Rubiks Cube. Geoff has a lot of other fun stuff over here. Hopefully when he releases these new lecture notes as well, you will be able to find them over here.
The lecture notes should be on the books page.
Oh, okay. Then I will pull that up real quick too.
Yeah, if you go to that one, they can see the cover of it. It's kind of fun. I use the mole people from the old 1950s.
Let's see here. Stuff that
that's
my
that's
parole.
Okay. That was a joke. Actually, that was done. I did that as a joke at the Magic Castle. I was in the parlor and I said, this next thing is from my latest lecture notes, stuff that violates my parole, but I do anyway because it gets such good reaction, and can be found on a DVD that's called Gospel Balloon Mentalism for Preschoolers Using Profanity as Misdirection. So that was the line. And I thought, I came up with this other group of, notes, and I thought, God, what am I going to name it? I thought, I already have a name. It's the parole notes. So that was in there.
I did find the new ones. I didn't realize they were already up here as well. So they are right here, Underground Monsters. There they are. Sweet.
Underground Monsters.
Cool. We got a nice version of a magical joke. Is that a version? Oh, cool. Okay. All right. That's not what I thought it was. You got the rubber band?
No, it's it's really fun. If you're into Roy Walton, Roy's estate gave me the okay to put that in there. They saw the video that I did of it, and they gave it thumbs up and everything.
Isn't that such a breath of fresh air, man? That people, one, that you thought to do that, and two, that it just shows that if you just ask, people are more than likely going to go, yeah, sure. Like,
they really are. People generally are nice people. And that's what I'm finding, especially in the magic world. Everyone is, we're all here to help each other. We're all here to support each other. As a general rule, not always, but and I think, it's wonderful when you say, is it okay if I do my version of this? Here's what I've got going. And they go, yeah, go ahead. We're all for it. Now, Roy would have loved it. Gosh, it just makes me feel so good.
Yeah. Doing the right thing. It's not so hard.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there we go. The new notes as well. A nice variety of stuff from the looks of this, which is great. Underground Monsters. Love it. All right. Well, Geoff, any last thoughts as I let you run? We're hitting the top of the hour around here, which is usually when we start to kind of wrap things up. So, any last thoughts? Again, thank you is not even enough to say. I said that to Charlie Fry last week. You guys are dropping so much knowledge and wisdom, and that all comes from years of experience. And that is something that I'm very thankful to have people like you sharing that with our friends out there that are looking to be better magicians or performers or trying new things, that they might not have tried before. So any last thoughts for our friends out there?
Well, I don't have all the answers. So if you've got something and you think that, hey, Geoff, have you thought of this? Or, whatever types of things that you would like to do to change or whatever, any of my thinking on any of my stuff, don't hesitate to give me an email or whatever. Contact me in any way. I'm here to learn. I'm a lucky fan of magic, like most of you. And so consequently, I'm just always wanting this art to be better, however we can make it. And not that I have all the answers or that I'm, complete, or that I've actually cracked the code on all of this stuff, because I haven't. I'm literally a student of magic, like you all are. And I want to learn along with you. So if you come up with something that you think that I might like to hear, let me know. Because, I love new stuff, and I love hearing, that this stuff is resonating with anybody.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. And we're always very lucky to have you join us in the All Things Magic Lounge as well. I know that not everyone is able to be there as much as others, but the times you've spent with us in there are also very much appreciated. So we hope to see you around there.
Yeah, I don't have the robe on right now, but normally I wear the bathrobe in the lounge.
The look. The legendary look. Well, Geoff, thank you so much for your time and answering all those questions that we had. I know there were a lot more, and I'm sorry to our friends we couldn't get to, but maybe we'll do a round 2 with Geoff one of these days if he's free. So,
or send me notes directly, and I will respond to you. I honestly will.
Remind them of the email one more time. Yeah.
Or my robot overlord will respond to you. He's back there reading my lecture notes right now. So
what's the email if they want to get a hold of you one more time?
Geoff at geoffwilliamsmagic.com.
All righty. Easy enough. Cool. Well, Geoff, thank you again, and hope you have a great rest of your evening. And one more cheers to you, my friend, for hanging out with us tonight. You're done, aren't you? You're done with yours.
I am. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
All right, buddy. I'll catch you soon, and thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Geoff Williams in the house. What a whole lot of fun tonight. And don't get out of here just yet. We've got a couple last things, a little bit of house duties here to do for you. I'm going to run through our top 3 this week. Got a little bit of magic news for you too. And our goal is not this. Our goal is actually much closer than that for our giveaway tonight, our big raffle giveaway. We are about 800 stars away from being able to give you a $400 prize. So help us get there. We are literally inches away, my friend. So let's go ahead and do our magic news for you, and then we'll do our top 3. Here we go. The first thing this week that I want to share with you is some news from another one of our pals around here. That would be Roddy McGee. Roddy posted a full video of his close-up act at the Magic Castle. Check that out on the All Things Magic website. It's almost 20 minutes of magic. It's a whole lot of fun, and Roddy is one of the most creative guys around, and he's also, how can you not enjoy the accent, the Scottish accent? He owns it, and he's awesome. So be sure to check that out. Speaking of other All Things Magic friends, we also saw that some of our friends were at the NimCon convention over the weekend, this last weekend. And one of the performers there was one of our own, Mr. Bizarro. Bizarro was there on stage doing his thing, and it's always great to see our friends in action. And also, I know quite a few of our friends were hanging out there at the convention as well. So that is pretty cool. Also, this is something that was floating around the All Things Magic group yesterday. This guy, he's part of one of those danger acts, and he's standing there, and they're supposed to hit the apple, but it looks like the guy's got an earring now. Unfortunately, if he didn't want one, he's got one now. The damn thing goes right through his ear. I've never been a big fan of these kind of acts myself. I know that they are truly dangerous. That's why I don't do them. Nothing but respect. But yeah, this is what can happen. This can go wrong. And that looks like it hurts really, really bad. One more look at that. Oh my God. Can't even. Also, recently we lost, something we posted was that we lost Daryl on the 24th of February, 7 years ago, which is just crazy to think about. And it was amazing in the group that we had so many people sharing stories. That was the thing that I asked people to share their favorite stories or memories about Daryl. And it was just a flood of people posting their thoughts about Daryl. And I think that's one thing with all of us as magicians, we can hope that one day our magic or our thoughts, the things that we talked about, hopefully live on. And I know Daryl's legacy will live on for a very, very long time. So I wanted to also share that with you guys that, he might be gone, but he's definitely not forgotten. That is for sure. Alrighty. And the other thing I want to share with you from the All Things Magic group, this was from last week's Throwback Thursday. A lot of you may not even be familiar with this illusion. It's an old thing called the $1 Million Mystery. And last week's Throwback Thursday featured it from Mike Caveney doing this back in 2001 at the Magic Castle as part of the History Conference. And he does it in its entirety with a really cool surprise ending. If you guys haven't seen that, check that out. And we'll be back this Thursday with your next Throwback Thursday. We love talking about the latest news and stuff, but also we love to remind people about the history and the stuff that's come before. And that's a great act done by a class act, Mike Caveney. So that is some of your magic news tonight. So there we go. We are officially past our goal now. I'm just going to do a quick double check behind the scenes, and we have officially hit our goal tonight.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
All right, friends, you guys are the best. And of course, thank you for your support. We are going to do our big magic giveaway, a $400 product going to one lucky person, one of our star supporters out there, coming up here right after our top 3 magic tricks.
Hold up.
All right, it's time for number 1. Product number 1 of our top 3 this week is Nostradamus from Joel Dickinson. My friends, I love this. I love it so much. I've been playing with it, performing it. I've got a performance of me doing it for you to camera. And this is exactly what it looks like. And I'll tell you all the details about it on the other side. And just so you know, these are sold out everywhere else. So if you want to grab yours, don't miss out tonight. Check it out. I am going to try to read your mind. I'm going to try. Let's see if I got my mental powers right here. The problem is you're not here. So I'm going to show you what it would look like if I could read your mind if you're really here. Okay, so we're going to use a couple things. The first thing is this. This is a green envelope inside of a clear plastic sleeve. And we're going to remove what's inside the envelope and use that to start. This is a little writing area. It's the same on both sides. And on this side, we're going to write down the moment in time that it is right now. So if you were here, I'd ask you, hey, what time is it? Just look at your watch. What time is it? And you would tell me it is 12:18. So that's the time I'm going to write down right now, 12:18. So I'm going to write that down so we can all see it right there. That is when this is happening right now. On the other side, I'm going to write something from the future. It's something that hopefully will make sense in just a little bit. Keeping my fingers crossed on that. We shall see. But for now, we're going to place this back inside of this. It goes right there. Nice and fair. And this goes back inside of this. Goes back inside of our clear sleeve. And this is actually harder to put in than the trick itself. This is very easy to do. So there we go. You can hand this to someone to hold on to, or you can just have it on the table so they can all see it, right? The other thing we're going to use is right here, our little notepad. And we're going to jot down some info on our notepad. And the thing I'm going to have you do now is think of a word. Any word that you want. And it really is a free word. Unfortunately, you're not here, so I'm going to grab one of the magic products. I have a lot of magic products here. And I grabbed this guy, the Tyvek Himber envelopes from Alan Wong. I love these. And we'll grab the word Himber. We'll make it easier. The word Himber from this. And that'll be our word that we're going to write down as our freely thought of word, Himber. There we go. The other thing we're going to write down is the time that it is right now. Because we've gone into the future now from when we made our prediction. And the time now is 12:20. So we're also going to write down the time of 12:20. And we're going to recap this, okay? So we have some information now on here. We have the word Himber, and we have the time of 12:20. Very important. So we're going to leave that right there. Now, before we did this, though, I made a prediction. All right? Made a prediction. And before that even, I had a time. Remember the time that we thought of earlier? That was actually when I was writing down the information. Wasn't thought of, but it was the actual time. And it was 12:18. So we're going to go back now to 12:18 when I made my prediction. So we're going to grab this out of the envelope, just the same as before. We're going to reach inside. You can see the time is sitting right here. I'm going to grab this right here. And we have the time of 12:18. And on the other side, there's something pretty interesting for you, I think, because it is actually the word that you were just thinking of. That is the word Himber. And that, my friends, is a damn miracle. And that is awesome. But this is one of our top 3 tricks, and it's called Nostradamus. This is F-bomb approved. All right, friends, so there you go. That is a little look at Nostradamus. A couple important points I want to let you know about. Number one, what you're writing on and what you're writing with is erasable. So you can do dry erase. You can erase it so it's reusable over and over and over again. You also do not have to do it is a linear thing like I just did, where I'm going to make a prediction, I'm going to put it down, I want you to think of a word, I'm going to reveal the word. This is not meant for that. You can do that, but what you could do is you could use the notepad for other things. One of the things, you make your prediction, you put it down, you have the time written down, and then you come back to it later during your act, reference the time again and the gap of time that's gone on between, and then you can do the revelation. Obviously, I'm not doing a whole act here, so there's no time. So I went from point A to point B very quickly. You do not have to do that. The other thing that's great about this is it's portable. This all fits in one pocket, which is very nice. Very cool thing. And you do not have to use the green envelope if you don't want to. You could just put the prediction in the clear sleeve, and then you could put that down, and then you could do the routine. So you don't have to use the envelope and all that if you don't want to. For me, I think it's just a nice little added touch. So this is called Nostradamus. We do have them in stock. Again, these are gone everywhere else, but it is F-bomb approved. And that is number 1 this week on our top 3 list. Number 2 coming up for you right now is the brand new Anniversary Hearts from Nicholas Lawrence. Number 1, I love Nicholas Lawrence. I think he's freaking awesome. He's a good friend of mine. Number 2, I love the Anniversary Waltz plot. He has taken it now and added a really smart moment to it that I think that you will enjoy. Here's a quick look at it. This is actually the original footage of him doing this from a few years ago. Check it out.
Nicholas Lawrence, original submission video.
This is my take at the Anniversary Waltz. Basically what we have here is the King and the Queen of Hearts. And I actually want to display for you the moment that the actual King gives his heart to the Queen. Right? And with magic, what would that look like? So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to spread these cards out. But watch the hearts, because they're actually going to look like they move from one card to the other, just like that. Leaving us with something pretty unusual. After a moment, you'll notice that the cards have actually fused together, just like that classic Anniversary Waltz style effect.
The specially constructed gimmicks to make the moving ink effect possible are ready to go right out of the box. And you receive enough of the Anniversary Waltz gimmicks specially printed for 25 additional performances. This is Anniversary Hearts by Nicholas Lawrence.
There you go, friends. Not only do we have the effect, we also have the refills available. They are bundled up right there, and you can grab that. So you will have a whole lot more to use with your effect. If you don't want to have the cards signed, then you don't have to reuse, you don't need to use refills as much. But if you do want to have them signed, then I highly recommend it. The refills are highly, highly recommended as well. Speaking of Nicholas Lawrence, kind of like a 2.5 pick tonight. Bangarang from him is also available now. This has been out for a little bit. A beautiful banish of a card between 2 other cards, or an appearance. Looks great. We have that for you too. But number 2 tonight was the Anniversary Hearts. And number 3 tonight, kind of going along with the memory of Daryl. This is not new, but it's new to our website. It is the Ultimate Ambition Improved. I really can't think of a better way to end an ambitious card routine, where you literally wrap it up with a piece of rope. They see the card literally going into the middle of the deck. And then when you turn the packet over with the rope, their card is once again back on top of the deck. It's an amazing moment. It's something that Daryl won FISM with when he was performing, competing back in FISM. We do have these available in red or blue. So if you want to grab that, we have these for you too. And as always, each one of the tricks that we feature here and that are available on our website are all handpicked. We only supply you with the good stuff that we believe in, and this one definitely checks that box. So that is number 3 on our top 3 list. All right, friends, and that's going to do it for this week's top 3 magic tricks.
Hold up.
All right, it is now time to do our big magic giveaway of the night. I've got a whole big list of you friends that have supported us tonight with those stars, so we're going to do a big giveaway. But first, I want to show you something very special from last week's giveaway, which was for a signed copy of the brand new Charlie Fry book, and I might have a little bit of footage of him signing this to our winner. Da-da-da.
Hey, are we on?
We are on, sir.
Hi, Lawrence. I'm about to deface your book. All right.
Deface away, sir.
All right.
Deface away. All right. And congratulations to Lawrence. I know everyone else is wishing they were you right now, Lawrence. Yeah. The man himself. Awesome.
All right.
Cool. Dun, dun, dun. Love and laughter.
There it is.
Oh, and what's this?
Yeah.
Charlie
We'll throw in one of these too.
Damn.
That went in the deluxe edition.
Yeah, I'll just sign my name on it.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, getting the hookup, Mr. Lawrence. I actually got the hookup earlier for those that are curious. We've actually had a lot of requests for the zucchini bread recipe as well.
Well, you know.
So this was what was stuck into the deluxe editions like that, along with the little slipcase. But there you go.
Thank you, sir.
You won't need a slipcase because you'll have an envelope. All right, so there it is.
Sweet.
All right.
All right.
I hope it brings you a lot of money on eBay.
There he is. There he is. Thank you so much to Charlie and his beautiful wife Sherry on hanging out with me over the weekend, and of course signing the book to Lawrence, our winner from last week. And there he's looking forward to getting that. I do want to say I was supposed to be sitting here eating zucchini bread this week. It's gone, so I can't eat it. I couldn't eat it on the show. So if Charlie and Sherry are for some reason watching, the plan was for me to be sitting here munching on it, but I can't because I ate it all. The last couple of days I've actually enjoyed it for breakfast. So sorry. And to one other little person out there, one of our big friends, one of our supporters out there, Scott R. Smith, got a little surprise for you on, one of the next times that you decide to place an order with us here at All Things Magic. We're going to have this dropped in your order.
All right, to Scott.
Scott.
Hey, Scott.
He's going to lose his mind.
All right, here it is.
He's going to lose his freaking mind.
There we go.
Dun, dun, dun.
La, da, da.
He will be so proud to add this to his library because he has got a massive library. It is impressive.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah, you can use it as a bookmark. In the deluxe edition, this was stuck in like there on that page, so that's where you can put it.
Thank you, Charlie.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Bye.
All righty, there you go, Scott R. Smith. We wanted to add a little touch. It was actually Charlie's idea. And yes, Way. So Scott says he already placed an order tonight. So Scott, the good news is then this will be added to your order. These were the, as Charlie just mentioned, these were the things that were included with this deluxe edition of his books. You got one autographed directly to you. Unfortunately, when Scott tried to buy his book, the deluxe editions were all sold out. So that works pretty freaking good for Scott. So there you go. All righty. No, it didn't smear. You're good. It's nice and safe, Scott. We got you covered. There you go. All righty. So yes, and I'll agree. If anyone deserves it, it is Scott, indeed. Yes. All righty. You're so excited, Charlie Rocks, and so do you, Scott. Honestly, you've been such a big supporter of us and all of our friends out there. Thank you for supporting what we do. But it is that time. It is that time, friends. We are going to do our big giveaway of the night. Excuse me. This is for a product that is worth $400. $400. Let's do it. Alrighty. Now, truth be told, the winner of this originally didn't claim the prize. So this $400 product is going back on the winner list. The for our friends that are supporters, it's going back in here. So we have a whole lot of you to thank really, really quickly. Big thanks to Derek Bumpus and the Bumpus family. John Carter, Richie the Magic, Ray Coleman, and yes, I've been behind the scenes tonight trying to work and get this done. Scott R. Smith, Brian Cornwall, Brad Adams, Sammy Hoxa, Josh Huff, John Stevens, Mr. Cram, John Carter, Michael Dawkins, Peter Nile, Mr. Will, my buddy Chris Will, Steve Z, who has been a big old donator tonight. He has really hooked us up. Mark Buffett, Kevin Lawrence Sell, Joe Berman, Mr. Mike Hankins, who was kind enough to call in tonight. Doug James, we talked to him a couple weeks ago, right? All about mentors. Richard Zach, Jake Rober, John Shack, James Hodge. Did I already have him on there? James Hodge. Nope, I don't think so. Okay. James Hodge, Glenn Henry, our buddy Malik, Ryan Jones, Mr. Jim Cox, and Mike McClure. I'm pretty sure that I have all of you on here, including Mr. Dawkins, who was just saying to please add you there. Also, I wanted to add Steve Z an extra time. He donated quite a bit tonight. So I wanted to say thank you. Scott says he already won with the signed card. So there you go. All right, so let's do it to it. A big thank you to all of our star supporters. And let's see who's going to be our big winner on this week's show. So let's go. Let's do it. You ready? Here we go. Scott says he thinks he's blushing because he's so excited about the signed card. I love when we can do stuff like that for our friends. Here we go. Here we go. Big congratulations goes out to James Hodge.
Congratulations!
Congrats, James. You're going to pick up a free copy of one of the best Bill and Lemons ever. It is by the late, great Scott Alexander and from Bob Kohler as well. This is the Rolls Royce of this plot, and I will show it to you right about now. Let me bring up our website because I want you to see exactly what he just won. I know a lot of you already know what this is, but he just won the Final Answer Reloaded, again from the late, great Scott Alexander and Bob Kohler. The winner originally didn't claim it, and so it's going back, and it's now going to James Hodge. $400 prize going to him just for being one of our supporters tonight. And we miss you, Scott Alexander. The Magic World misses you a lot. So there you go. You will not find a better version of this. This is the Rolls Royce of the plot. I know there's a lot of great methods out there, but this one really is freaking cool. So the thing you need to do now, Mr. James Hodge, so let me just come back over here. You need to contact our team. You need to contact our team in order to claim your prize, and you do have 1 week to do that. Now, again, our last big winner for this particular prize did not reach out to us. So James needs to make sure to do that within a week, or the prize will go back into the mix again, and someone else may win it. So that is the email right there, info@allthingsmagic.com. You are very, very welcome, Mr. James, and thank you as well for being one of our supporters. Scott says James is from St. Louis. He will be at the Gateway Close-Up Convention in April. I sure hope a lot of my ATM friends will be there as well. Yes. And yeah, holy shit, you won a damn amazing great prize. Yes, you did. So big congrats. Yes, coming from the fam and the wifey. Got the congrats coming out from Doug James and Ellis Cohen. Yes, no way. It was your buddy. Congrats coming from all sorts of our beautiful friends out there. So there we go. I love to see that when we support each other. Even when there's free stuff. I love it. All righty. So thank you so much, friends, tonight. Let me just double check my show. Make sure we didn't miss anything. We'll do a quick little recap, and then we will scoot on out of here for tonight. So let's do it to it, friends. It's been a long show, but a really fun show. Here we go with the recap.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
Man, it's been a hell of a show. First of all, I want to say a big old thank you to the one and only Geoff Williams for hanging out with us tonight. Geoff is a wealth of knowledge. He shared a lot of great information with us about scripting, about comedy. The guy is a pro, and it shows in everything that he does. So here it is. A big thank you to this man, Mr. Geoff Williams. If you're just getting here, like I saw Brian Sanders says he just got here, check out the replay. There is so much wisdom and advice that you do not want to miss about comedy and scripting and performance and practice and when things can go wrong and all sorts of great stuff that you only learn from someone that's been there, done that. So a big thank you to Geoff for sharing his wisdom with us tonight. Went through some magic news for you. Again, don't forget to watch that Roddy McGee live performance in the Magic Castle. That is some amazing stuff as well. So yeah. Also, if you want to learn a free trick, I've got a free trick for you, my friends, over on the All Things Magic group. I shared this a couple days ago. This is a off-balance transpo idea for me. It's actually pinned in our featured section right here, you can see off balance transpo. There was a question in the group from someone about these type of off balance transpo things going on, where one card changes places with a few. I shared one that I do a lot, that I created, and I teach you how to do it. So if you are in the group, be sure to check that out, and you can learn a trick from us over there in the private All Things Magic group, only for magicians. All right, so check that out. On the product side, I just gave you our top 3 lists. That was Nostradamus predicting information. It's a prediction system that fits in your pocket. Highly recommended, and it is F-bomb approved. You also missed me performing it to camera. Then we talked about the brand new anniversary hearts from Nicholas Lawrence. You get this beautiful moment where the heart transfers from the king to the queen. He gives her his heart. And then you end with the classic anniversary waltz where they're back to back, the double face cards. It's a great routine. We got that and the refills available for you tonight, along with his brand new Bangarang effects. But number 3 tonight was the Ultimate Ambition Improved from Daryl. I really can't think of a better way to end your ambitious card routine. Is it new? Nope. But it might be new to some of you, and it's too good not to tell you about, especially because tonight we were also remembering the legend of Daryl, who we lost 7 years ago. So I thought that was a nice little fitting thing to bring him in there too, with the magic that he left behind. So that's our top 3 list as well. So that's it. That is our show. It was a hell of a show. We also did our big giveaway. James Hodge was our winner. And it has been so much fun to hang out with you guys and to see some friends out there. I'll hop into the All Things Magic Lounge here shortly to say hello to some of our friends. I see David Parr still hanging out. Good to see David. He had some great questions tonight too. He's a wealth of knowledge. I'd love to have David on one of these that we do. The Teamans are here. Rich Gilbert is here. Good to see you, Rich. Behind me, Mr. Michael Dawkins is here. We got Richie out there. Good to see you, Richie. The Teaman boys. V is in the house. Mr. Mike Hankins. And just really good to see our friends out there. And we got Frankie streaming this to the room. So thank you, Frankie, for doing that. And Cody Fisher, I never get tired of your card tricks. Never, ever, ever. There's Bernardo. Bernardo popping on there too. He's pretty lit. He's pretty lit. Not drinking, but he's lit. We love him. So there we go. All right, friends, that is it for Taco Tuesday tonight. We will be back next Tuesday night, 8:30 Eastern time, to do this all over again. Tune in to find out what we're going to bring you. You never know. We might have another special guest. I'm going to keep you guessing in 2024. I promise to keep these shows fresh and fun as we go forward. And I couldn't do any of it without you being out there and tuning in and hanging out. So thanks for being part of all that. So with that said, let's get out of here in style. And can't wait to see you guys back next week. Are we getting more Mr. Gloves? We are. We're just waiting on them to come back in stock. If you guys are looking for things that are out of stock on the All Things Magic website, don't forget, my friends, it's very, very easy to be notified of when we do have things back in stock. Email me when available. We do have them already on order. You will be the first to know if you click that for any of our products that are currently out of stock. Okay? So good question. Good question. All righty. That's it, friends. I will see you next week. And thank you for being part of what we do. All righty. See you, everybody. See you, Doug. Much love, buddy. And our big winner of the night, James Hodge. Good to see you out there, and thank you for hanging out with us. Good to see you out there, the Teaman boys, Justin and James, David. You got it, Lawrence. Can't wait for you to get your hands on that Charlie Fry book, man. It's a good one. Can't wait for you to get that. Scott R. Smith, thank you, Luke. You have made my year already. All right. You can thank Charlie Fry for that. You got it, man. You guys are the best. So we got to be back. The best of the best. Good to see you, Ray. Thank you, my friend, for saying the love. Give me some. Appreciate that, Mr. Mike McClure. I will catch you guys next time. Thank you, guys and gals. See ya.
Thank you, and good night.